Okay, I'm only talking to the real, authentic, thoughtful leaders now. That's it. If you are somebody who has been feeling frustrated because you know you're a leader and you're not really achieving everything that you want to achieve, if you have had doubts, especially over the past year, if you've had fears, if you have made mistakes or worried about making mistakes because you're the leader, well, then you are normal. You're one of the real leaders, and I'm talking to you. I'm Mindy Gibbins-Klein, and I work with thoughtful leaders. My book, The Thoughtful Leader, aims to help people aspire to more, a higher level of leadership. Maybe you've heard the term thought leadership. Thought leadership means leading with your thinking. But unfortunately, a lot of people started talking about thought leadership, thought leaders. I'm a thought leader. Never say that, by the way. Wait for other people to call you one. And I just began thinking, the more important thing is whether you're a thoughtful leader. So I'm going to be chatting with you about being thoughtful. And if you have been, especially in the past few months, as I say, fearful, doubtful, if you've been feeling like you're not delivering your best results, that's great news, because that means you care. That means you care enough to take your leadership to another level. I call that thoughtful leadership. So let's just talk about why we often feel, we leaders feel we're not good enough. We feel that way. It's a feeling. What I've found in my career is feelings are very real. They're very real to the person who's feeling them. And when you are somebody who has created a product, a service, an organization, when you've stepped up in your career and you know people are counting on you, many times you begin to wonder if you are good enough and if you're doing a good enough job. Before we go any further, I just want to tell you that sometimes you forget that you're already good enough. It's just you're showing up in a way that's not good enough, but you are good enough. And as I said, because you care enough to be here and to put more thought into your leadership, then you deserve to have a better result. You deserve to have the recognition and the outcomes that are available to all of us, but especially those leaders who take risks, who challenge themselves, and who are willing to go above and beyond what the other leaders or other people in the organization do, or the other people in your industry. It doesn't matter what you've done before. The only thing that matters for the next few minutes is your intention. Your intention. If you care enough to be the best leader you can be, then you can do enough so that people see you're the best leader. That's what we're talking about today. Why am I so interested in this? Well, you may know my background, you may not. Over the past 18 years, I have helped over 1,000 people to plan and write and publish books. That's right, but not just books, thought-leading books. Books that are the best they can be and that show people that the author is the best that he or she can be. I don't know if you've written a book or thought about it, but that's something that brings up a lot of fear for many people. I'm just checking that you're following me. The fears that come up are very natural. The fears that come up for most people when they think about writing a book, it's overwhelming because guess what? Most people don't ever do it. The fear of putting your thoughts into that package and having those thoughts exposed to the world, having you exposed to the world, it's something that stops a lot of people. I know people who have tried or been struggling for 5 or 10 or even 15 years and still not written that book. Now, I don't judge anybody. I'm not judging. And let's just take the book as a metaphor. Let's take the book as a big goal that is something overwhelming, something scary. And it could be that it's a marathon or a triathlon if you want to train for one, or a big move, physical move to another city or another country, or a big career move, or a big risk like starting your own business. All these big goals have something in common. They're big and they're challenging, and therefore they make the person who has that goal stop and think, because they know that it's going to take extra effort. And then on the other side of that, well, there's the risk. So in the case of being a leader, especially being a thoughtful leader, if you're going to become more outspoken, and I'll talk about that in a minute, if you're going to be outspoken about issues in your field, in your industry, in your organization, then you know what could happen, right? And maybe this is why you have a bit of, a kind of discord going on inside your body, because you know that when you say something, there are going to be critics. And many times it's easier not to say something. But the thoughtful leader thinks about the risks, the consequences, and those outcomes that only come about when they put themselves out there and they put their thoughts out there and they find a way to do it. So I don't know if you've ever written a blog, put it out there and thought, oh no, I'm not happy with this. It doesn't have to be a blog. It could be a short tweet. It could be, a video. Like I just messed the paper a minute ago, and you think, oh no, this is terrible, not good enough. But then what happens? If you've thought about the bigger goal, the bigger issue, you might think, well, yeah, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if a bell goes off when you're in the middle of recording because I didn't turn my emails off, which I'm doing right now. It doesn't matter. And, I think what people do is they get themselves so upset that they don't do anything. But if you've put something out there, be proud, as long as you've put thought into it. I think a worse problem is, as a leader, when people are expecting you to be visible and vocal, a worse problem is holding yourself back and not saying something because you're worried about how it's going to be judged. Real leaders, authentic leaders, thoughtful leaders, find a way. They consider. That's the key process that I would recommend you go through. Consider what you have to say. Consider the audience. Consider the risk of not speaking up. And then consider how you are going to put that across. That's really important. I have had so much fun helping people launch, not just books, but launch themselves into exciting careers and positions of thought leadership and thoughtful leadership. And each one has taken a risk. They still have those fears and they do it anyway. I'll never forget a very senior person I was working with about 15 years ago. And he was very accomplished in his business. And he was putting together a series of articles and blogs and a book. And he kept asking me, is this okay? Is this any good? Does this sound okay? And I thought, where is all this hesitation coming from? Why aren't they more confident? So everybody at every level has that feeling at some point. So if you've been feeling that way, good. You're not alone. And if you care enough to do something about it, then let's go. Let's do that. So sit up straight, Take a deep breath, put a big smile on your face because you are about to help more people. That's the key difference. When I say consider, in English anyway, the word thoughtful has two meanings. One is thinking about something. Thoughtful. He's a thoughtful person. He takes his time before speaking or arguing or something. Or thoughtful. Oh, that's so thoughtful and considerate. I would say that's at the heart of it, because if you consider and if you are considerate, then it's obvious that you're thinking about people. And that means you'll put more thought into what you're saying and writing. People will see that. That's clear. For me, it's not something that has come very easily. I have very, very high standards for myself. And if you've been wondering how to become a better leader in this crazy time, if you've been wondering how to make a bigger impact, and you've been, hesitating, let's face it, most people are kind of in a wait and see mode. If you've been waiting, then that's because you're considering, and that's great. If you have a high standard and you don't want to put something out there that is not a high enough standard, then that's a good thing. So pat yourself on the back. Go on, do it now. Give yourself a little hug if nobody has hugged you recently. Go on. This is the secret stuff that really helps leaders to feel stronger so that they can then provide more. They can provide a better service. They can be a better leader for their people. You've got to feed yourself first. That's another whole talk. But in the last few minutes, I just want to speak with you about some other really important things that you can do. What is it that you do really well? Think about it. As part of your job or at home, do you make really good coffee? I'm not being funny. Most of us are working from home now, so it could be an idea to perfect your coffee or tea making skills because you have to drink it every day. What is it that you do really well? What is it that you did really well this year? I suggest you write down 2 or 3 things that you achieved, or that you surprised yourself about, or that you accomplished because you're good. Take your time. You don't have to do it right now, but maybe jot yourself down a note. Come up with 2 or 3 things that you did well. You've done them. You can be proud of those achievements. Now, how can you do more of that? So I'm obviously focused on thought leaders who want to be writing books, articles, blogs, people who want to be speaking in public, people who want to be more visible and vocal. I always start my clients off by making a list of what they've done already, because it gives you confidence. And this is your choice, obviously. Everything I've said today is a choice. The first thing that you want to remember is if you do choose to do more and to do more than what's necessary, to really go beyond, we call it above and beyond. And that's why I run the Above and Beyond conference. To go above and beyond is a choice. To stay in hesitation is a choice. Nobody's judging you, but if you're judging yourself, then you need to do something extra. You need to push yourself, push your thinking, make time in your calendar to sit and consider what's really important. You need to be calm and confident. So I will tell you the secret. This is the biggest secret of all. This underpins every single thing that you will do in business and life. I hope you're ready for this. I won't move the paper, right? You ready? Okay. People want to see you at your best. They want you to succeed. You may have heard this. But the thing they don't realize, because it's subconscious, is they want you to succeed and be confident and know you're succeeding, because that confidence gives them confidence. Think about it. If you're buying something, do you think you will be more likely to buy it from a confident person? Yes or no? I will. I get nervous when other people are nervous. I'm nervous for them because I care and I think, oh, please do well. I want them to do well. I want you to do well. So your confidence will give other people confidence. And that is a magic key. But it doesn't even stop there, because your confidence doesn't just come out of thin air. It needs to be developed. And the key component to your confidence is clarity. When you are clear, when you're clear about who you are, what you're doing, what you're offering, and the value of what you're offering, when you're really clear, you will speak confidently about it. Hopefully, you're only speaking and writing about your topic because you have the clarity and you have the confidence. And remember, that gives others confidence. But it doesn't even stop there. The last part of the secret. What gives people clarity? If you have had a lack of clarity, if you've been confused and concerned in the current environment, and nobody would blame you if you have been, then maybe you don't have clarity. You need the environment to create clarity. You need to be calm. You need to have space, time and space. This is the good thing about many of us working from home, I would say. This is a great thing because we have our own space for the most part. You may not, you may have to go in the office but most people have more time or space or both. So how you're using that is critical. You must ask yourself those really, really big questions, or you can get help. I don't know what your thoughts are about coaching, but it's so valuable to get somebody else to question you, to talk to you, to help you consider all of these things. You don't have to do this consideration on your own. That's the great news. So I do this work with clients. Many of the speakers you will have heard are coaches, and coaching is fabulous because you can have a thinking partner. You can have somebody who may challenge you, but mostly encourage you. That's really what I would encourage you to do, is have a thinking partner, someone who will encourage and challenge you. And then you start taking action. And that is where most people stop. So if they do some kind of course or coaching program, or they go to a retreat in the past, or they meditate, or, that's all great. But then what? Because to have that clarity, you need to see yourself doing it. So right now, before I finish, I'll finish in 1 minute. Think about something that you have been wanting to write about, speak about, implement, or change. Write about, speak about, implement, or change. Just get that concept in your mind right now and ask yourself, when am I going to take the time, give myself the space to consider, to make a plan? Am I going to get help from a thinking partner like a coach? Do something. Do something towards that one action, that one area, which will help you feel more like the thoughtful leader that you are. It's my absolute pleasure to speak to you today. I hope we will stay in touch. I wish you the best of luck with your thoughtful leadership journey and everything else in life.